I'm Kelly. This is a first-hand experience submitted by a Taiwanese netizen. It happened during my 3rd year of university. Since I hadn't gotten a spot in the school dormitory, my boyfriend and I rented a small studio apartment near campus. My daily routine was simple: classes and part-time work, nothing out of the ordinary. That day, I returned home after class, and in the evening, I had a minor argument with my boyfriend over something trivial. Annoyed, I went to bed early, while he, still fuming, left the house around 8 p.m. to take out the trash and wandered outside until past 11 p.m. before coming back. By the time he returned, I had woken up and was no longer upset, so I tried to talk to him. But for some reason, I had an unsettling feeling, as if something terrible would happen the moment he fell asleep. My intuition screamed at me, so I kept trying to chat with him, hoping to delay the inevitable. Despite my efforts, sleep eventually overtook him. I remained uneasy, but eventually drifted off as well. And just as I feared, my premonition came true. That night, I faintly heard knocking in my sleep. Half conscious, I wondered who would be knocking at such a late hour. I wanted to ignore it, but then the boyfriend sleeping beside me suddenly spoke. "Come in." But that voice wasn't his. The next second, I felt a flood of people rushing into the room. I couldn't move. My entire body was paralyzed, my eyes sealed shut, yet I could sense them. A group of figures stood in a circle around me, peering down at me from above. A wave of icy terror surged through my body, from my feet to my scalp, sending shivers across my skin. I desperately reached out to touch my boyfriend, hoping he could save me. But even though he was right beside me, I couldn't feel him. Worse yet, he seemed to be drifting further and further away. I struggled against the unseen force, unsure how long it lasted. Then, suddenly, my boyfriend jolted awake, sitting up in a panic. "What's wrong?" he asked, his voice laced with concern. Only then was I able to open my eyes. Weakly, I asked him to grab my protective talisman and place it on me. Though my body was still drained of strength, the oppressive presence had vanished. I rested for a while, but even at dawn, my body remained weak. Left with no choice, I asked my boyfriend to go to a Mazu temple to get a protective charm, which we stuck onto the wall above the bed. Only then did I start to feel a little better. We rushed out of the apartment without looking back. As we left, I asked him what had happened the night before. His answer sent chills down my spine.
"I went to sleep after you did. I didn't say anything and I didn't hear you calling me. I only woke up because I felt you struggling in your sleep, and something seemed off."
How is that possible? You clearly said, "Come in." We argued about it, but the more we discussed, the more unsettling it became. Our memories didn't align. A cold dread crawled up my spine. Without hesitation, we made our way to the local city god temple to offer prayers. From that night on, nothing quite as intense happened again. But we couldn't shake the feeling that we were never truly alone in that apartment, as if countless unseen eyes were watching us from the shadows. As soon as our lease was nearing its end, we contacted the landlord and arranged to move out immediately. Later, through a mutual friend, we found out my boyfriend's energy had been unusually weak at the time, making him susceptible to supernatural influences. That was likely why these eerie events unfolded. As for the words, "Come in," someone must have been speaking through him. In other words, that night, Something used his voice to invite a group of friends into our home. That concludes the story. What do you think? Who do you believe that come in was meant for? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If you want to see my videos faster, please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates.